Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be rating all of the palettes that I've acquired since the beginning of the year. Some of them might not be in here because they may have already been decluttered, but the ones that I do have, I will talk about and rate them. I'm going to talk about what's my favorite palette to my least favorite palette and why, and what I think about the prices and everything in that sort of thing. So if that's something you guys are interested in, make sure you guys hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the bell to get notified every time I upload a new video, and let's get into the video. Alright, so I just made sure I kind of went back and tried to look at like my old videos and to check and make sure that all the palettes that I'm talking about are the ones that I've acquired, you know, the past 6 months. And for the most part, I think I'm 100% there. If anything, I think 2 palettes are missing, which would be the Rose Decadence from Pat McGrath and the Huda Beauty Khaki Obsessions. So those are out of the picture because those are not so recent. So I will be talking about the ones that are the most recent. And if you guys are wondering about my nails, they are the Impress press-ons. I just have a bunch of different ones. I have like the yellows mixed with the coral and the lavender ones. My dog is barking at my door because it's closed. So I have a list here. I rated all of them. This was pretty hard. I have a total of 13 palettes to talk about. And I'll talk about what I think of the palettes, what I think of the qualities. Does a more expensive palette compare to like a least expensive palette? Which one's my favorite? So we'll talk about those. And by the way, one of them was gifted to me by a subscriber, so thank you so much. That's also on the top, one of the top rated palettes. So without further ado, let's get into the video. The number one palette that I have really fallen in love with since I've acquired it, and it's a smaller palette. It's a really tiny quad. It is from the brand Roen. Now I know they were sold at Sephora from my understanding, and from me looking into the website, they no longer are available at Sephora. I'm not sure why. But I have this Roen quad. I ordered it directly from the Roen website online. I also purchased a mascara, and I got this little 52 degrees cool eyeshadow quad, and it comes with these 4 shades, which to be honest, it looks like nothing much for like, if you're just a regular consumer, maybe they look like, oh my god, beautiful. But if you're a person like me that has a lot of shadows, really loves makeup and enjoys makeup, so you're probably like, what the hell, Karina, like on all the freaking eyeshadow palettes you have, this is your favorite? And to be honest, yes. 1, because of the texture. 2, because of the way these look on the eyes. They kind of give like a wet effect on the eyes. And 3, just because the quality. I honestly have a hard time, even like right now with the eyeshadow I'm wearing, I have the Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina palette on my eyes, and it's creasing and it's fading. So to be honest, for this palette, it retails, by the way, for $46. This is the most expensive palette in my whole palettes I will be talking about here. It does retail for $46, and I do plan on purchasing another one in the future, just so you guys know. But I just really have been really impressed by these shadows, just the uniqueness. I know they look like nothing much for the world, but to me they're really, really pretty, especially this like gunmetal bluish shade. I'll go ahead and swatch them here for you guys. I think I swatched them previously in my Shop My Stash as well. This is currently in my Shop My Stash. These are the shadows. I mean, like I said, they don't look much for the world, but on the eyes, obviously swatching doesn't do justice for a shadow. But on the eyes, guys, I can just go ahead and say that they are beautiful. I love how they look. If I was probably to add this shade like all over this, it transformed the shade that I currently have to a different color. It's just so beautiful. I just cannot. Look at that. I'm putting it on the middle part. This is the second shade in the top row. It's just so pretty. And even if I was like to go with the sparkle, it's so pretty. The uniqueness of these shadows, they're just beautiful. And I just completely transformed this eye look that I have on, but that's okay. I don't mind. Like I said, I love these shadows so much, the uniqueness of these and how they look on the eyes and how they perform as well. I was just really blown away by this little quad. And like I said, I do plan on purchasing another quad from Roen. I know $46 is pretty expensive for a quad, but I know of brands that obviously charge way more for that. So that is my number 1 rated palette so far for the mid-year of 2021. Rated number 2 is going to go ahead and go to the Alter Ego Blooms palette. Now, this is supposed to be a dupe, from my understanding, of the Natasha Denona Love palette. And when you look at it, you will see that right away, yes, it's supposed to be a dupe. I don't personally have the Natasha Denona Love palette. I don't plan on purchasing it because I already do have this one. But I just love this. I like how all the shades kind of go together. You have some more peachy pinks. You have your deeper berries right here. These 2 are really pretty, and they do have like a cream to powder formulation right here. It's just so unique, and I really, honestly, for the price, This retails, like I said, for $16. They're just really, really pretty and really unique. I'm going to go ahead and swatch the deepest shades. And this is kind of why one of the similar color stories to this palette kind of rates a little bit lower, just because I do have this one, and in comparison to that one, it falls nowhere near. And again, just the formulation of this whole palette itself, I just think it's so unique, and the packaging is beautiful. I haven't had any issues with creasing majorly of this palette. I will say the longevity, depending, like if I've had my makeup on for at least 8 hours now, 6 hours now, and you know, obviously I retouched it with the Roen quad, but still I think that this palette is just so pretty, and the shades are just like right up my alley. I love pinks and purples. Those are like my favorite shades. So this is number 2 in my products of my like highest rated shadows. Number 3, of course, is going to go to the BH Blueberry Muffin Palette, and it makes me so happy to talk about this palette. The reason I purchased this palette was because a lot of people have been raving about it, and with that said, that is enough for me to buy it. This is what the palette looks like right here. Really pretty blues. You get some silver kind of blue color. You have a lot of cool tones. You have a gray. I just want to go ahead and swatch some of these shades so you guys can see why I fell in love with this palette. And for it being BH Cosmetics, this one retails for $18. So I'm going to just go ahead and leave that there. $18 for this kind of shades. It's just so pretty. These show up really brightly on the skin. They can stain. I will say that. They can stain a little bit, nothing major, but they're just so pretty and so unique in my opinion. And I really love the packaging as well. It really makes it something that is really appealing to me personally. And I would think would be appealing to a lot of people. If you saw this on the shelf, would just not want to just pick it up and look at it? I mean, I did, and I you know, I wanted to buy it. So yeah, I really like it. I really enjoy using a lot of these shades with a lot of these silver like glitters. Like for example, this shade in Sweet is one of my favorite ones as well. They're just very reflective and very shimmery. They can get a little bit crumbly, but if you usually use your fingers, you know, you can get a pretty good look with them. So this is number 3 in my rated palette. Number 4 in my palettes is going to go to the Colourpop Statement Piece Quint. This is a Quint from Colourpop. It does retail for $10. So I think it's pretty affordable, $10. I've been really into like really colorful, oh my god, my light. I've been into a lot of different like colorful looks. I love this palette. I like the fact that these shades are true to color on the lids as well as on the palette. I like how easy it is to just do a full look with this palette. I get a lot of like, really, if I just grab 2 shades, 3 shades, whatever, I can go from really light to really dark, which I really enjoy about this palette as well. Because most palettes, sometimes, for the most part, you can do a full look with one palette. But I do find myself sometimes reaching for other palettes, like for lighter tones, for highlighting, for inner corner highlights. But with this one, I can do an inner corner highlight, a lid shade, or if I want to do just a matte look with like an inner corner pop of like, you know, this orange or this orange, I can do that. And for that reason, this one does retail, or does, I'm sorry, rate number 4 in my collection. Number 5 is going to go to the BH Cosmetics Flower Power Palette. Now this has replaced my love for the Norvina palette, unfortunately, and because it is so new as well, I've been playing with it a lot. I've been really enjoying these kind of purples here. This one has like a little bit of a pink to purple shift, which I just think is so pretty. And I was contemplating on purchasing a Colourpop single that looks just similar to this shade. And with that, I'm not going to purchase it because I have it here. It's just good to find things that I want. Like, for example, I want that new Lush Life palette from Colourpop, the new brighter color palette. I'll pop a picture here, the newer colorful palette. But I'm obviously going to skip on it because I have a lot of colorful tones. As you can see here, I have those pops of, you know, I have the greens, I have the blues, I have the reds. So I'm going to skip on those, the oranges as well. And I'm just kind of working with what I have. Now, I do plan on purchasing the Norvina, the new big, I know I have this one. I just love purple. I have a lot of purple palettes, as you guys can see here, but I just love purples and pinks, and I think I'm going to purchase the new Norvina palette, the volume 5, I believe it's called. So we'll see. I'm still thinking about, I'm debating whether that one or the Patrick Ta, the new one, the like muted one, but we're not sure. I'm not sure. I'm still kind of thinking because I have a lot in mind that I want to purchase, but I don't want to extend my budget because honestly I have really kind of been staying away from purchasing so many things. I did already do a haul. I did like, I've been doing a lot of I've been updating my skincare because I ran out of a lot of things, so I'm trying to keep my budget. So yeah, anyways, this is just one of those that goes from really dark as well to really light, which I really love because you can do a very beautiful like lustre kind of fairy look, and then you can go really dark and smoky with this as well. It's just such a good palette, and it's only $12, you guys. I was even surprised when I saw this price on the website, but I really do appreciate the fact that this is so affordable for these many shades. You get 18 shades, you guys, or 16, I'm sorry. You get 16 shades, you guys. So for 16 shades for $12, honestly, I think this is a really good price, and you don't got a lot of, you know, you don't gotta waste a lot of money to get good quality. Honestly, I think so far from what I've heard and what I've done and myself tested these palettes from BH Cosmetics, the more recent palettes have been really, really good. So next, moving on to number 6. This is the one that I was given to by a subscriber. Now I want to say something. I found this palette on Wish and I found it on Amazon. On Wish is $5, but I don't exactly know how Wish works and how shipping works. I've never purchased from there, so just keep that in mind. On Amazon it does retail for $11.99 currently. The price does vary, however, so just keep that in mind. I will link it down below if you guys are interested in it, but by the looks of it and by previous videos I have gotten asked where I've got it or who gave it to me or where they can find it, and you can find it on Amazon, you can find it on Wish. With that said, I'm not sure exactly where the palette comes from. It says it comes from China, but it's made in the PRC. So I want to go ahead and show you guys. You guys will tell right away. Of course, same kind of color story that I have on my eyes. I love these color stories. I don't know why, I just keep purchasing them over and over. And the next palette is similar as well, so just keep that in mind. This is a dupe for, I believe it's a dupe for the Huda Beauty, the new, what's it called? Some nasty, I don't know, some sexy name they probably have on that palette. I forgot what it's called, but let me double check before I mess it up, because I know it's like some kind of weird. Oh, the Naughty Nudes palette. Naughty Nudes from Huda Beauty. I think this is a very good dupe. I personally, like I said, same thing with the Blooms for Alter Ego. I don't have the Love palette from, I don't have the Huda Beauty one. I was really tempted to buy it. It has that weird kind of slippery shade as well, but, and it's funny because the shade names I think are the same. But again, I really have been enjoying this palette. I've been working with it a lot. I really enjoy the shades. I enjoy the quality. I honestly was really surprised by these like marbled shades, how unique they are. It's just kind of, again, it's a very similar color story that you're already looking at me swatching, but I really love these shades and I have nothing bad to say about these kind of color stories because I do love them. So that is number 6, and I would recommend that palette if you guys can find it on Amazon really affordably for $11. Like I said, right now from what I looked on the Amazon website, it is $11.99. I will link it down below just in case you guys are interested. I'll try to link all the palettes down below, but I am not affiliated to any of these. I don't have any codes or anything like that, so you'll be purchasing them directly from the buyer. All right, number 7, with that said, is the Alter Ego Luster eyeshadow palette. This is, I believe, another dupe palette. A lot of dupe palettes here. This is another dupe palette for, I believe, one of the Pat McGrath palettes. I'm not 100% sure which one it is. But again, similar color story. The only thing with this one is why it rates a little bit lower is because it only has 2 mattes. So these are the only 2 mattes in this palette. Everything else has like a little bit of a satin shimmer, like a more metallic, and then it is true like metallic shade. So with that said, I don't think that I can do a full look with this palette. Obviously I don't mind just putting glitters all over my eyes like I just did today, but I want a little bit to work with, and honestly these 2 shades for me to work with is not enough. I wish I had like a lighter brown or like a matte or like a matte orange, something else to go based off, because again, these shades are very pretty. This shade in Crystal is very unique. This shade is this white right here. It's just so unique, and same thing with this one here in Radiant. It's just, they're very unique and very pretty. So this one is this one and this one is this one, and I just think it's a really pretty palette again, but I just wish I had a little bit more, and that's why it rates a little bit lower. All right, we're gonna move on here and move on to my other palettes. Number 8 is going to go to the Colourpop Cashmere Forever palette. And this is rated, again, a little bit lower just because of the quality of some of these shades. For example, the first shade in Softy, you can tell by just me showing you, I don't want to tip it over. It's broken on me multiple times. I've had to repress it. It's not hard to repress, but I don't want to like, I'm going to close it back up. I don't want to break the shadow any more than it already has. I love these purples. They do stain. $10 for a little like a little quint of purples is beautiful. It's easy to use. Again, you go from really light to really dark, which I love. That's what I love about these, but unfortunately just this palette in particular rates a lot lower than the one in Statement Piece. Again, reminding you that Statement Piece is number 4 on my list. This is number 8, so it's not that bad, but it's still a little lower. Again, Softy is just one of those shades that has broken on me, and I have to keep repressing it. That's why I don't want to tip it over, because it will fall out. Other than that, like I said, I really love this deep purple. I kind of wore off the little logo. They had like a little kind of like, you know, like those deck of cards, like an ace, or like, you know, those kind of like a deuce thing on there. It had that on there, and it kind of wore off because I do use this palette a lot. Again, I do love it, but I just think that for that little shade right there, it's just so chunky. I honestly prefer the one from my, what palette is that? There's a really similar shade to this. It's from my Sugar Pill collection. It's a Sugar Pill Capsule 1. Has a similar shade, and it's much more easy to use than this one. All right, moving along, the number 9 palette in this rated eyeshadow collection for the haul, whatever you want to call it. I'll figure out a name eventually. I'll probably just call this my newest palettes rated, okay? This is the Mandalorian and Colourpop pressed powder palette. Now, I will say, in comparison to the other palettes, this is also 9 shades, but this one retails a little bit higher. This one retails for $16. Now, for $16, because it is Star Wars, Disney, whatever, it's, you know, patented or whatever, I think that it's kind of a little bit of a it rubs me the wrong way because it's expensive, because compared to other 9 pans that are like $12 or $14, it's kind of iffy, but I still like it. I've worn it a couple times on my eyes. I will say the only thing that I don't like about this cardboard packaging, and I think I've heard somebody else mention it. Who was I watching the other day? Beauty with Andy, she mentioned it too. Okay, so yeah, this kind of cardboard packaging is hard to clean, and you can kind of tell there. I have this pack, this is already all dirty, around this color, and the brown. It's inevitable to clean. I'm not going to mess up the shadows trying to clean them up. You know, Paulina Beauty always says this, if my makeup looks messy, it's because I use it, and I use my makeup, and I try to make as many looks as I can. My favorite shade in this palette so far has been Precious Cargo. It has a shift of yellow, which I really love, and I've been really into yellow tones, so I do like that one. And I also like the Force, which is like a true kind of gold, but it has a shift of green. It's hard to tell in my hand, but it's right there, and I love both of those shades in this palette. And the greens are really light. I will say that that's why this rate's lower, because this one doesn't really show up on my lids, and this one has like a little bit of like glitters in it, and it's hard, you can probably tell right there, has some glitters in it, and it's just like not a true matte. It's not my favorite, so that is why this rate's a lot lower, number 9 in my collection as far as like the palettes I've hauled. Moving on, number 10 palette in this whole collection, which kind of hurts my heart to say, but it's number 10. This is the BH Cosmetics Weekend Vibes Avocado Toast palette, and again, I don't know what it is with those greens. I've been really loving them, but lately I've just been having issues specifically with this palette. The top row I love, I can do a full look. The middle 2 rows, but this row right here, it's just like this matte right here and over easy. I just don't like this shade. I don't know if it's just me. It can barely show up. It kind of fades away to nothing. A lot of these like kind of bluey shades are pretty as well, but I don't know. I haven't found myself like attracted to use this palette. Like, oh, I want to use it more in comparison to the blueberry one, the Blueberry Muffin. I just kind of automatically reach for that because I know what I'm going to get out of a look. But for this, I don't know what it is. I have to like sit there and think, am I going to use one color? Am I going to use 2? What kind of look am I going to do? Because of that pink salt and that over easy, I think these 2 shades just throw me off. So like if these 2 weren't on there, I think, oh yeah, let's go for a total green look. Let's go for a, you know, warm and dark look right here with those orange and browns. But these 2 shades for some reason just throw me off majorly. So it kind of turns me off with this palette. That's unfortunate. But it is a really pretty palette. Again, BH Cosmetics has done really good with their formulation recently, like their shadows. So I don't have anything bad to say about it. It's just, it does rate, because of those shades, it does rate a lot lower. And I haven't really been using it as much because of that. So this is number 10 in my rated palettes. 3 more palettes left, okay? Number 11 is going to be the Nabla Secret Garden palette now. Or Secret palette. I thought it was Secret Garden. Anyways, Secret palette. This is the most basic palette you can think of. I'm going to show you the packaging. Really pretty. And then you open the palette and you get your normal matte browns, your normal golds, some pop of blue. So it's a neutral palette with a pop of blue. I will say that since I've bought this palette, I've only used it like 3 times. Maybe twice or 2 or 3 times. And that sucks to say because, again, something about that pink, same thing with the Avocado Vibes palette. I don't know. Those pinks just kind of like, I don't like them. And I don't know. It's such a neutral palette. You have your browns right here. You have your deeper brown mattes. You have a black, which is really pretty. But I don't know. I just don't reach for this palette. That's why it's rated lower in the collection. The formulation is really nice still. From what I've tried, I want to try more Nabla palettes. I know they came up with the new cutie one, so I was kind of interested in picking up the bluey kind of one because I've been loving the blueberry one so much. But it does rate lower because I just have not reached for it enough, and I don't really like the fact that I feel like I'm just reaching into, which is fine. I mean, I have a lot of those palettes that have like neutrals and then one pop of color. But I think for me personally, this palette has just not really drawn my attention as much as I thought it did when I bought it in store. When I saw it, I was like, I want to try an Nabla palette. This is the one that's most appealing to me. Let's get it. But now that I have it and I've used it a couple times, it's just not my favorite. I just think the shimmers, or like these more like normal satin shimmers, are so basic, honestly. So that's why. All right, number 12. Colourpop Wine&Only. Now, I've heard a couple people agree with me. This palette doesn't really have much variation. I wish it had a lighter pink. I can pull in other palettes. I can pull in the Love palette or the Blooms palette. That's a dupe for the Love palette. But palette itself, it's hard for me to use it on its own. Has 2 or 3 like satins. So these 2 are like satins. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 mattes. Actually, no, this one has a little bit of glitter in it as well. Kind of similar to the Mandalorian palette. But I just don't know. I don't get a full look from this palette. I wish there was some lighter tones in here. It's a really pretty palette. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm going to see myself using it a lot in the fall. I mean, I can use it now regardless. I have a similar look, a color story, whatever. But I wish there was a lighter shade. I wish there was a lighter shade because it just kind of throws me off with the whole palette. It's so dark. When I do reach for this palette, I have to reach for another palette that's lighter, so. Alright, the worst rated palette since I've purchased it about 6 months ago, and it's more pricey as well. This is like the second highest priced palette compared to the other ones. This does rate the lowest. So with that said, I have one more, but I didn't include it in this eyeshadow thing because it's considered a face palette. So I'm gonna go ahead. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. I did a comparison video. One half of my face was high-end, one half of my face was drugstore or like dupes, whatever. This is the Cosmetics Divine Skies eyeshadow palette. This is so tiny compared to my other palettes. It's really tiny. It's honestly $40, okay? $40 for eyeshadows that are okay. They're okay. They work, but they crease on me really badly. Like, really badly. I don't know what I was thinking. I know some people have this in their, I watch Tara Brooke. She has this in her, not Tara Brooke. Is it Tara Brooke? Oh my God, please don't mess it up. I think it's Tara Brooke. She has this in her, she had it in her project pan. Now it's done, but I just think it's like, I don't know. It's a really pretty palette. I want to reach for it all the time, but the fact that I know that these shimmers crease on me so bad, I mean, any palette does, honestly, but the fact that these, like, maybe 1 hour into wearing them, they're already creasing and kind of fading away. I don't know if it's the eye primer. I have different eyeshadow primers. I've tried it with all of them. Actually, no, I haven't tried with one, which is the AVH one that I have in my glitter drawer. So maybe I should try it with that one. I've tried it with my Milani. I've tried it with my my Natasha Denona primer. I've tried it with my NARS and my, what other one is there? I have Milani, I have Natasha Denona, and I have NARS. I've tried it with all 3 of those, and they still crease on me really badly. They kind of fade away, but it's a really pretty color story. It's right up my alley. I love it. But for $40 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shades, and that really crease on me, this is the lowest rated palette in my collection because of that. I just bit my tongue. The lowest rated palette in my collection because of that, because the fact that I can't, if I wanted to go out somewhere and I wore this all night, it'd be gone by like 6 o'clock. If I done my makeup at 7 a.m., it'd be gone by 6 o'clock, and that's unfortunate because I want something that's gonna be really pretty. And don't get me wrong, these shades are beautiful, they last on me, but I found a dupe, and like I said, it does last longer, unfortunately. This is the Milani All Over Eye Cheek and Face palette. That's why I didn't include this. This is also newer to my collection, but it's a really good dupe for this palette. So if you guys have been eyeing the Divine Skies palette and you guys are kind of, you know, price, whatever, $14, $40. So it's a dupe. I've done a video, I've done a full look with this. It's a dupe, the Milani. This is the one, by the way, in light to medium. I kind of have the words fading away. Light to medium because I do reach for it a lot. Light to medium is a really good dupe for the Divine Skies eyeshadow palette, which is in Magic Hour, which is unfortunate. Because like I said. Anyways, with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys don't find me so rambly. I've been kind of trying to catch my breath and also kind of thinking of other newer video ideas. If you guys have any, let me know down below. I do plan on doing my top 5 and bottom 5 of 2021 mid-year updates because I know a lot of people are doing that right now. So I do plan on doing that, and you guys will probably also see some looks with some eyeshadow palettes. I plan on doing a couple of looks with the BH Blueberry as well as the Weekend Avocado and the Flower Power palette, and then some of the Colourpop. This one I haven't done a look for, so I plan on doing a look for this one and the Wine&Only palette, just because they are newer and I want to do looks. Let me know if that's something you guys are interested in down below. If you guys find any of these palettes, any specific way you guys maybe can give me tips on using this palette in particular. If any of you guys have the same issue with this palette, let me know. But that's all from me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys have a good night wherever you guys are whenever you see this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.